Hey there, this is Christian Horner, and I just want to show you how to do the Pear Deck presentation or formative assessment digital piece for the A5 participant session. Easiest thing to do for this is to go ahead and copy the bit.ly that you see here. It's just Horner Pear Deck NMSI. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy it this way. You'll need to type it in. Go to a new tab and go ahead and put that in. When you do that, it'll ask you if you want to copy the document, and you absolutely do. So just say make a copy. And when you hit make a copy, it should make a copy of it. It'll even say copy. This will save to just your base drive. And so if you want to create a folder, you can and put it in there for later. I'm going to just kind of leave it the way it is. At this point, we need to go in and we need to add the Pear Deck add-on. We have two slides. Both of them have some code in them down at the bottom, so you don't want to remove the bar, and that code helps talk to the Pear Deck program. You want to go up to add-ons and go down to get add-ons, and then you want to search and you want to look for Pear Deck, and when you hit enter, it should be the only one that comes up, and then here it will say add or install, and you just want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and then it'll just say free. So I'm going to start again because that's not what. Hey there, this is Christian Horner, and I just want to take you through how to do Pear Deck for the A5 session with your with all of your people that you're going to have in your room. So those participants will use this program on the student side, and you're going to set it up right now for the teacher side. First thing to do to set up on the teacher side is to type in this bit.ly URL that you see. It's just Horner Pear Deck NMSI. So I'm going to select it. You'll have to actually just type it in. So I'm going to go to a new URL and I'm going to type it in and hit enter. At this point it will say, do you want to make a copy? And absolutely you do want to make a copy. So I'm going to say make a copy. And it will pull up just a Google Slides document, but this one's a little different. You don't want to change anything on the slide, especially what's down at the bottom. Down at the bottom, it's got some things embedded in the slides so that it will work with the program Pear Deck, so you can do some awesome formative assessment. There's two slides here. One of them is a inclined plane with a pulley and two masses on it, and the other one is part of the 2018 AP Physics 1 exam, and you'll notice that students were asked to draw some things on different dots here. So we'll go back to the first one again, and you'll need to add an add-on. This is the Pear Deck add-on, so just go up to add-ons and then say get add-ons, and you'll need to type in Pear Deck and hit enter, and when you do that it will say free, and that's what you want. There is a paid version of this too, which gives you a lot more power, but for what you're doing today and for what participants are doing, they can use the free version. Go ahead and you'll have to choose your account for Google in order to do this, and you do want to go ahead and allow Pear Deck to do all the things you see here, so go ahead and just say allow. Once you've done that, you should be ready to go. It'll give you a little bit of information here about Pear Deck. You can read this, and if you want to, you can click more. Over on the right hand side, you'll see a drop down menu. This menu has Present with Pear Deck, and then it has a slide library. That slide library allows you to modify or create new slides, and then down at the bottom it also has some interactive pieces. You can read a little bit more about that at the peardeck.com site or at that link that you just saw. At this point we need to present, and as we go through and present, we don't want to use the present button up at the top. All that does is it just starts a presentation in Google Slides. We actually want to start this in that Pear Deck app. I will tell you that the steps that we just did where you had to do the add-on and everything, you only have to do once. Once you've done that, you're done and you're ready to go. So now I'm going to go to Present with Pear Deck. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it will take me to the Pear Deck interface itself, or the Pear Deck website. So you'll see that up in the URL. It'll load your slides that you have into the program, and then it will give you this first step. So pretty intuitive. It says make sure this browser window is available on your classroom's projector. So once you do that, you'll go ahead and say, okay, I see it on the projector. So you can either do this and allow your participants to see what you're doing, or you can hide it and make them true students. So we need to go to joinpd.com. That's where the students or your participants will go. And then they're going to type in this code, SWCMZ. If they have trouble recognizing the letters, sometimes an I and an L will look the same. They actually give you some keywords down on the bottom, and it's always kind of a funny thing. So stoic watermelons conduct misty zebras. And so I have another account, and we're going to log on to that. So you'll notice down at the bottom, you'll see no students have joined, and so we'll get a student to join here. And now that student has joined, you'll see it says one student has joined, which is good. We only have one student joining, so what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and start. It says one student has arrived, ready to start. Go ahead and advance to your next slide. That's this button. When you click on that button, it will show up. This is what the students will see. You're not going to see them do anything unless you go down to the bottom. You'll see the three dots here on the bottom, and you'll click on that, and then you want to open a dashboard in a new tab. I would encourage you to do this so that participants can see what the teacher sees. That'll be the selling point for you, for them to use this for formative assessment. At this point, it says waiting for responses, and there are three ways to look at the participants' responses. If you have 20 people in the room, you're going to get 20 different boxes. The best way to look at it is use a grid layout. And I'm going to go ahead and start drawing on my slide here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a vector. You'll see that it's come up, and this is my wife's account, so you'll see it. You can also, now this would show not just one box, but several boxes. So if there were 20 people, you'd see all 20 show up on this screen, and you'd probably have to scroll down a little bit. The list layout does it one person at a time, so you can scroll up and down through the different participants or students. So I'm going to leave it on this one because it's a little easier to see. Notice that I've already drawn one of these arrows. I'm going to now change. You can actually change the size of the line, and I'm going to draw a line up, and we should see that one come up. There it is. I'm going to draw one going up the incline. I'm going to draw one going down the incline, and I'm also going to draw a couple on the box over on the right. Now, we're looking for participants to do this correctly, and so you might have a couple of participants be a little bit goofy and maybe put in some things that obviously aren't right, and even a question mark or two here, or a IDK. However you want to have participants take this. I would have them try to do it seriously first. Might help some of them kind of think about what they're doing as they go through. And this is what you would see, and then you want to project this for your teachers, for your participants, so they can kind of see what they would be able to use. If you click on the grid layout, remember it does show all of them. This last one is an overlay layout, and you can't see it with just one person, but if several people have done this, it will just lay them, all the answers, right on top of each other. So you can kind of get a general idea. If everybody's doing it right, you should see a bunch of overlaid arrows that all should be the same. If not, obviously that will just look like a big blob of a mess. So here what you can do now is, I'm going to go back to what the students would see if this was up on the main screen. You can now project student responses, and if you notice on your screen, you can see the names of each of the students or participants. Same thing in the grid layout. But if you go to the one that you've projected up on the screen, which is this one, you don't see that. And you can actually click here, and now you can see one that person has done, but there's no identification for them at all, unless they write their name on it, and then that's kind of their own fault. At this point, I'd say, alrighty, there's no IDKs, let's get rid of the IDK. They do have an eraser tool, and they can go through and they can erase. Obviously, I didn't choose the right thing, and now I did, and they can erase that. And I might say, hey, let's think about what's going on. This MG looks pretty good, but this is up at an angle, and it can't be, and there's no such thing as a force with question marks, so let's change that. And so they can go in and on the fly, they can change that and make it correct, and we're going to label it correctly with tension. And I'd also say, hey, watch out, ignore friction. Go ahead and fix it if you haven't done that. So now they would go in and choose the eraser, and they could totally get rid of friction. And then I'd always ask, hey, I don't think that mg goes up and t is going down. Let's fix it. So they would go in and they would go ahead and fix the rest of what's going on with the slide. So this one, normal force would not go that way. We do know it would go that way, so we're going to scratch that out. Here's mg again, here's tension. Oops, sorry, there's the normal force, and then tension would go here. So I always encourage my students not to cross off like that because obviously it gets very, very messy. Instead, go ahead and use the eraser tool, make it cleaner so that we can kind of see what's going on. And then if you make a mistake, go back and fix it. So really powerful formative assessment tool. There is no fear of being made fun of unless they put their name on this. But you can't see students' names when you project it up on the screen. If you have the other tab open, this one does have student names, so you want to be very careful with your participants here. You might just kind of tell them, hey, go ahead and make mistakes, and then fix them together. Then that way nobody feels picked on or taken advantage of if they're not really sure what's going on. To go to the next slide, go ahead and click on the next slide button, and you'll have participants then can go ahead and start writing some things on that next slide. So they might put some things in so you can see that this person has put them on. If you double click on that person, really not much will happen, but you can blow it up and see what they're doing. Same thing here. It doesn't show any responses until you say project student responses, and then that does do that anonymously. When you are finished, what you'll want to do is go ahead and click on the next slide. This will then ask the participants, how did it go? And they can either do thumbs up or thumbs down. And then down on the bottom, there's the 3 little dots, and you can just say, in this session. When you say in the session, if you want to name it, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to just call this presentation 1. It'll save it to your Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this other one that was up here too. And at that point, you are essentially done. All right, and just one more really important thing. In order to get back into this, it's pretty easy to do. You don't need to go back into the bit.ly again. Instead, you want to go to My Drive. And if you go down, you're going to find in your drive that copy of NMSI formative drawing Google presentation, Google Slides presentation. So it probably should come up here in the quick access, but if it's been a while since you've done this, in between looking at this and then actually doing it, you'll have to go in and find it down on your Google Drive. So you'll have to kind of look for it, but I'm going to go back up to the top where this is, and you can just double click, it'll open it again. And you don't need to add the add-on again, it's already there. So you just go to add-ons, go to Pear Deck and say open in Pear Deck, and it will pop it open again. And you just want to say present in Pear Deck again, and you can go ahead and do this with the actual participants when they get in. Same thing, you just go ahead and say, okay, I see it on the projector, it'll give them a new code, and you'll be able to save this one. Kind of a nice thing to be able to do. And that is it.